Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are going to be having a look at the May sale, and I'm just going to let you know how I'm going to split up the different videos. So basically there's around about 5 separate videos that are going to be coming out today when it comes to the sale, because they're doing things in slightly different ways. So the first way they're doing stuff is they are throwing in bundles on the Gadget.net store, but you can actually kind of create your own bundle with several different packs, and each additional pack you add to the setup will give you an extra piece of discount. So if you have one pack then that you want to buy, you'll get a 5% discount. If you add 2 packs, you'll get a 10% discount. If you have 3, you'll get 15% overall. And if you buy all of the 12 packs that are available, you get a maximum discount of 60%. So it's just an increasing discount depending on how much you buy. Then also there are certain packs which are going 50% off on the sale, and this includes the Type 69 2G pack, the Pyramirski, the MiG-17 AS, the SAV-20, the A43 Mk.XIVe MTCA, and the starter packs. They're all going to be 50% off. And then also you have the GE discounts when it comes to all of the other stuff. Also, you have, of course, the premium discounts, the premium time that is available as well. Even without looking at all of these packs or anything like that, just remember, premium time is much better than any of this stuff. So if you want to make one purchase this month, make sure it is the premium time. Make sure it's either the premium time for 180 days, which is 50% off right now, which is $20. So you can get 2 of them. So $40 overall, and it's literally a premium for a year. Or the premium time in game is 50% off for a year and also 90 days. So that is what you should focus on if you don't have premium time. If you do have premium time, then it's worth looking at the other stuff. So the way I'm going to split up the videos, one which is this one here, it's going to be on the special packs. The next one will be on the 50% packs, and then the ones after will be about the G discounts. Simple as that. If you are making a purchase today, if I have the affiliate code when it comes to the War Thunder in the description. If you want to use it, it does also benefit the channel, and also you can get my decal in game. I don't think you'll get any additional discount on top of the other ones, but you will get the decal, and it also gives me a bit of a kickback, which of course is very kind. So anyway, let's get into all of the different packs that are on offer, which have rolling discounts. The first vehicle in the packs that is available is Plagueis's Spitfire LF Mk. Now, this is at 5.7 in rank 4 in the British tech tree. It has really good rewards on it. Just remember, I do have a RP booster on right now, so it's plus 20%. So understand this might be lower for you if you have premium account. But the SL rewards are high. The repair cost for this thing isn't very high, so overall it can work extremely well. Plagueis's actually has a lot of competition though. When it comes to the 5.7 bracket, you have the Spitfire FR Mk. And then also the Spitfire FR Mk.XIVe, which is here. And these two are Griffin Spits, and they have much more powerful engines, and therefore you can do much more with them. So Plagueis's kind of loses out to those ones, which are about the place. In the pack though, with Plagueis, you do get 15 days of premium account, which is quite nice. And overall, this is probably one of the better Merlin Spits out there. But as I said, it's at a BR where Griffin Spits start coming along, and 5.7 is a pretty strong BR already when it comes to Britain. In modifications wise, you can bring a 250, so you can use this thing for dogfighting and CAS in ground if you want. I think there are much better options though, which are around the place at the moment. And when it comes to the general weaponry, the 20mm are alright. Hispanos get a bad rap. I don't know why. I've always thought they were fine. They've been improved a lot as well over the last few years, so they do hit like a truck. And then you get 7.7s instead of stuff like 50 cals, as a backup. So you can pepper people with the 7.7s and then finish them off with the 20s. Being a Merlin Spitfire, this Spitfire is incredibly maneuverable. It's a fantastic dogfighter, which has a really good rate of climb. The only issue you're going to have in a vehicle like this is if you face energy fighters who know how to fight. But the thing is, you don't find many of them nowadays. Most of them just dive on you, and then you can kind of turn them around. Has a little bit of issues with overheating of the engine if using excessive WEP, which can be kind of annoying. But apart from that, you know, it works very well in Air Arcade or Air Realistic, because in Air Arcade it has a really good lineup around it. You know, as I said, with the 257 Griffins right here, and then also the Sea Fury you can throw in, and stuff such as, you know, the bombers like the Lancasters, which are around. But it is, I would say, worse than the Griffin Spits, just because it's not as multi-role. It's much more dependent on its, you know, being able to turn and dogfight instead of boom and zoom and energy fight. The Griffin Spits are some of my favorite aircraft in the game, but the Merlin Spits are also very good. They're just not as good as them, because they don't have that extra oomph and extra power, which helps quite a lot. So this is a good vehicle, but it's definitely not the best for Britain at its BR. The next vehicle is the Stuart 6 5th Canadian, or the M5A1 5th Canadian Armored Division pack. This vehicle also comes with 15 days of premium accounts if you purchase it, and it's a rank 2 vehicle in the American tech tree. Now, it has a ton of different skins on it, and as you can see, I've really enjoyed kind of unlocking them all. And you can see the bush placement, meaning that you can pretty much cover the whole of the vehicle on it. But it's just a really nice vehicle, this one. It is pretty much a direct copy of the other Stuart that is in the tech tree at 2.7 for the Americans, the M5, and also at the same time you have the M5A1 TD, which came around in the Twitch drops for Warthunder. So you can run a full 2.7 Stuart lineup, but if you don't have the TD one, you can just put in the M4A3 as well. This one's fantastic. You can throw in the M16 for a bit of AA, but basically you have a really nice lineup at 2.7 for America, and this used to be my go-to lineup to get first places and also to get a bunch of other stuff done. The reason for this is because the Stuarts are incredibly fast. They're very good at accelerating. They have scouting since they're rank 2 light tanks. They have good penetration on their gun, and also at the same time they have decent power of the gun, so when you penetrate you can knock out 1 or 2 crew, and because you have a really good reload rate, you can just keep shooting and keep doing a ton of damage to the enemy. Great gun depression, so you can get into any area and be able to get the shots off. Pretty good turret rotation as well, and overall just very good mobility. The only thing that these specific Stuarts are missing are smoke grenades. They have everything else, and they are really fantastic to play. And with the lineup, I still would highly recommend it even after the pushing up of the Stuarts. It's still very, very good. And I'll show you with the M5A1, I have an 80% win rate, and then plus basically 200 on the KD. And then the Stuart 5th, look, 78% win rate, and then plus, what's that, about 130, 140. And this is used as a backup to my standard M5. So you can see how powerful these things can be and how carry effective they can be. So if you're looking for a little bit of fun in the game, and also to be able to efficiently grind into rank 3 of America, then these aren't too bad. The rewards are pretty low, especially when it comes to SL on these vehicles. But if you're just looking for a lineup which is really fun and enjoyable, 2.7 America is super good. It's also a great vehicle to kind of get somebody into the game, but at that point I would say, I would recommend buying a starter pack, which are 50% off right now. But this is really good. It's a fantastic vehicle, and with this lineup plus the planes that you can run with it, it is just a really, really nice pickup. No different from the standard tech tree one though, so if you're looking for something unique, you're not going to find it here. Now we have the IS-2 Revenge. This is the Revenge for the Hero Brother pack. You basically get 15 days of premium, for the IS-2, which is at rank 4, and also premium account for 15 days. Now, when it comes to the IS-2s, I really like the 5.7 one. You know, you can just go around donking things, but by the time you get to 6.3, I feel like the IS-2s in general are not as powerful. The major reason is because they have a long reload, they don't have a lot of gun depression, the armor doesn't hold up as well against enemies, and also you start getting some pretty hectic heavy tanks around the BR, which can just annihilate you. The T-34, for example, I would always take over the IS-2. The Tiger 2H, I would also take over the IS-2. And then you've also got the fact that 7.3 right now is pretty strong, and also 7.0 is pretty strong, especially for the Soviets. It makes something like the IS-2 not as nice of a proposal. It does get access to some okay rounds, but they don't have great penetration, so if you come up against actual other heavy tanks, which you will eventually, such as Tigers and other machines, you'll be able, Tiger 2s, you won't be able to pen them in the front, and they'll be able to pen you, which is a super rough thing. It does have some good armor on the front of it, but not impenetrable, especially since more and more vehicles around these BRs are getting higher and higher, you know, penetrating rounds in the form of Heat FS and also ATGMs. And through the side, you do have a lot more armor than other heavy tanks, but still not anything to really stop stuff. What I found with the IS series and a lot of Soviet vehicles, your rounds kind of get stuck on the track, so you've got to make sure to try and not hit the tracks and try and go around a different area. And remember, a lot of it is generally angled, so you still get pretty decent armor on the sides, which is nice, and also the back of the turret. But the IS-2, I know a lot of people enjoy the 6.3 version. I'm just not one of them. I think it has good SL rates. I think it has good RP rates. The fact that the premium one is worse than the standard one, the 1944. The 1944 has the extra chicken wire on the side, and also it has the Dishka on top. So the Hero Brother one just has it's just worse than the Tech Tree one, so there's that as well. But the main thing for me is the reload is super bad, and you're not guaranteed to kill stuff like you are with the 5.7 one. So I don't like this vehicle. I think 6.3 is a pretty weak BR for the Soviets. I mean, you basically have a pretty dud lineup overall with 3 tank destroyers, which, you know, only one of them is, I would say, any good, which is the Su-100. Yes, the 2S3M can donk people, and haha, it's fun, but as an actual efficient vehicle, it's not very good. And the Su-85 is too slow and gets killed too easily. So you're basically hoping that your IS-2 can carry. And in a full down tier, it will do. In anything else, it's going to get tromped on by better vehicles. So for me, it's a no on this one. It's also quite expensive for what you get out of it. I feel like there are better deals out there. The next vehicle is the T-34-85E. Now, unfortunately, I don't have this in game, so I'm going to have to show you pictures of it. But basically what it is it's a standard T-34-85, which has access to chicken wire on the side of it. This will protect it slightly against heat and also HE rounds, but generally won't give you that much additional armor against stuff like AP rounds. The vehicle itself is very standard and very similar to the T-34-85. And for me, I really like the T-34-85. I think it's a very mobile vehicle. It's got a pretty good gun on it for its BR. It's very good against stuff like Tigers and also Panthers, which is the main thing you'll face. Has a pretty good reload, good mobility. The armor is not the best, especially since, you know, more and more better guns keep turning up. I did a full HUD could struggle against heavies, but most vehicles around these BRs do that. So it's generally not, you know, it's generally not something which is too much of a surprise overall when it comes to the vehicle. But for me, if you're looking for a vehicle to be able to add to the 5.7 lineup and also be at rank 4, so you can research into the rank 5s, it's not too much of a bad pick. It's it's a pretty decent one. And if you have a look at the other vehicles that are around the BR for premiums wise, such as the SU-122P, the T-34 is a much better pick in general. So yeah, I would consider this one if you want to bolster that already pretty powerful 5.7 T-34 IS-2 lineup, and also I suppose ISU-122S and T-3485D5T and IS-1 lineup. But I don't think it's required, but it's a nice little boost into the next area. Probably one of the better rank 4 premiums for the Soviets, but generally, unless we're talking about like the 6.3, 6.7 area, they have some pretty decent lineups at 7.0, 7.3, and 5.7, so you don't have to worry too much about premiums at those BRs. There is also Ray Wetmore's P51D10 Daddy's Girl, which is on sale. This is $25 and you get an additional 15 days of premium account. The P51D10 is a very versatile vehicle. It's very good in aerialistic as an energy fighter, and then also in ground it has access to the 1,000 pound drop, which basically is a guaranteed kill at 4.3 and also at a bunch of other BRs. 4.3 for ground, you also have a pretty decent lineup because you have the 4.7 one right here. Unfortunately, there isn't too much of a 4.3 one, but 4.7 works incredibly well, so you can bring this along if you want as a piece of CAS. And because it's a rank 4 and a pretty low BR for rank 4, it means that you can research efficiently all of rank 5 and below, so the vast majority of the tag tree with this vehicle. Good RP and SL rewards on it, and Mustangs in general work very well in the game. They just have kind of specific playstyles which you have to adhere to. It also does have a extra skin for the RAAF, which is quite nice. As you can see, I like this one personally, being of course a really nice Australian camouflage, but it's your pretty standard, you know, P51 you know, lower BR vehicle. You got the V1657, gives you pretty decent you know, power in the engine department. You have 650 cals, which is standard. You get the bomb loads, and everything else is very similar to it. So if you're looking for a grinder at rank 4, it's not a bad pick. You know, when we have a look at the other options, you know, the other one is Boswick's, which is also on offer right now, but both of them work very well. They're just at very different BRs, and therefore you run them with different lineups. This one's going to be more useful for naval and also for ground, and in the aerialistic portion it should also be incredibly good for being an energy fighter. But as I said, energy fighting kind of has gone out the window when it comes to aerialistic, but should not be forgotten, because if you can master it, you can dominate battles. Then we have George Boswick's P47 M1RE Thunderbolt. This vehicle is exactly the same as the Polish vehicle that was just around for the independence or the Polish Day. So if you have bought this, then this is exactly the same. There's no difference to it. It's still a very good vehicle, is George Boswick's, you know, being at rank 4, meaning that you have good rewards and you can research the vast majority of the tech tree with it. It has good SL on it as well, which is very important, but it has the pretty powerful R2857C. It has a ton of 50 cals. I was playing actually the German P47 yesterday to get the history pages event done, which is right here, and I forgot how amazing the P47s are. If you play them properly and play them with a bit of patience, you can just mop up teams no matter what you're facing. It's good for head-ons, it's good for general energy fighting, it's good for energy trapping people at certain altitudes, it's good for pretty much everything except full-on turn fights. So if you don't engage in turn fights and just engage in, you know, hit and extend and then hit and extend and just keep doing that over and over again, you could do fantastically well. The other thing about this vehicle is it's good in ground forces and also naval forces, because it has the 1,000 pound drop and the 500 pound, guaranteeing 1 or 2 kills depending on how accurate you are. It also has the APIT belts, the late war belts, which are easily the best, and it does also have a camouflage nowadays on the marketplace, so you know, you can kind of enjoy that too. In general, this vehicle is fantastic. It has a lot of competition at this BR. Now, when it comes to the actual tech tree, though, you know, there's a lot of stuff from 4.7 to 5.7 which are pretty decent in their role as well. But in terms of rewards, you know, you can easily get into jets with this thing, and also, you know, into other areas of the game. The 5.7 lineup for ground as well, with the M4A3, and then also the Hellcat and the Slugger, is a fantastic lineup. And running it with this vehicle or a version of the P51 can work extremely well for you. So once again, it's an energy fighter, so it does need a slightly different playstyle to what many are used to when it comes to stuff like aerialistic, but doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it can work extremely well in the right conditions. I would highly recommend this one. I think it's a really good deal to pick this one up, and definitely fun in overall. Then you have Pavel Golovachev's Yak-9M, and this is at rank 3 when it comes to the Soviet tech tree. The Yak-9M is very similar to other Yak-9s. It has slight improvements over them in flight characteristics, but nothing too crazy when it comes to it. It has one 20mm Shevak and the 12.7mm cannon, so very similar to a bunch of the other Yak-9s. And the issue with this is you obviously have limited ammo and armament, so you have to make it count when it comes especially to aerialistic. The vehicle itself, the 20mm, is pretty powerful. It's the Shevak, and it used to be very much hit and miss, but nowadays I think it's completely fine. It works super well. Yaks in general are very good mid to low altitude fighters. They're not very good at high altitude, so the meta in the game right now does suit stuff like Soviet aircraft, especially in aerialistic. And one thing to note is I would say the rank 4 of the Soviets can be quite weak in general, so getting a rank 3 vehicle to be able to research through all of them is not a terrible idea. I generally think that there are some better ideas though, like the Yak-3 VK107 is very powerful compared to the Yak-9M, but still the Yak-9M shouldn't be one which you look over, because it's actually pretty cheap at $16 compared to a lot of the other packs, and you get 15 days of premium account with it as well, so overall it's not a bad deal for those general reasons. For the Soviets, you also have Sergei Dolgushin's LA7 pack. I really don't like the LA7. I think it doesn't fly very well. But this one is at rank 4, so you can research it to rank 5 with it if you want to. Does have very good bonuses on it when it comes to RP and SL, and also you get premium account for 15 days, which is quite nice. You could probably use that to grind through a lot of the Soviet tech tree with this vehicle. But the LA7s have the same issues as the other vehicles, such as the Yaks, where they're not very good at high altitude. They're very much mid to low altitude vehicles, and at the same time, they also don't handle as well as Yaks do, at least in my opinion. It does get two 20mm, which should be enough to be able to take out pretty much anything you fight against. Doesn't have the most ammo, and you do have a similar vehicle in the tech tree, which is basically the same of it in the form of the LA7. So if you enjoy the LA7, then you'll obviously enjoy this vehicle, which is quite nice. But for me personally, I don't really like Sergei's LA7. I don't really like those vehicles in general for the Soviets of those BRs. The only one which I've actually ever truly enjoyed is the Yak-9P and the Yak-9UT, and those vehicles have real big issues when it comes to their engines. Prendergast's FR Mk.XIVe Spitfire comes in as well. Of course, you can see, I believe it's the Lazy Lady, or it might be the Lappy Lady, or whatever it is. It's Prendergast's Spitfire. This one gives you 15 days of premium account again, which is quite nice. And this is a Griffin Spitfire, meaning that it has way more engine power than the Merlin ones. You can see the Griffin 65 with the max power of 1340. It has very good rate of climb, very good turn rate, and this one is the clip wing one. So at certain altitudes, it should be able to push itself around a little bit easier, but it does lose more energy at, you know, turning and stuff, which is a little bit of an issue. But at higher altitudes it should be a bit quicker if you ever have to, you know, move about in the place. You have 220mm, 250 cals, which is a good combo. This thing has enough ammo to be able to take out pretty much anything you need. Good RP and SL rewards on it, and once again is a rank 4. So if you have a choice between this and Plagueis, I'll go for Prendergast personally, just because of the extra power of the engine, and it also means that you can, you know, have a few more tricks up your sleeve. At the same time, it does have access to a 500-pound bomb as well, so you can use it as CAS if you want. It's not going to be as powerful as other things, but it will at least be something. And this machine is, first of all, beautiful, second of all, a joy to fly, just like all of the Griffon Spitfires, and can give you a good boost into the jet age when it comes to War Thunder. 5.7's pretty strong in terms of premiums for Britain, and this Spitfire is definitely one which should be targeted if you want to, you know, kind of climb the ranks quickly with Britain. It's a very fun vehicle. The M18 Black Cat is one of my favorite ground vehicles in the game. It is very similar to the standard M18 Hellcat that you get in the tank tree. The major difference is you don't get these little side skirts, and also you get the muzzle on the gun for the M18 in the tech tree, but the Black Cat doesn't have that. It just has the standard gun and none of those extra things. So in terms of actual usability, it's basically the same. There's no real difference between it and the standard one. So what you're getting is mobility, you're getting good gun depression, you're getting access to scouting, so getting into planes is easier, and around this BR, you know, America has some really good CAS that you can bring out. You know, the AD series, the AM series, the P47s, the P51s. There's a lot of stuff you can throw around at this lineup. You also have the 50 cal, so you can deal with lighter units pretty quickly, and also you have pretty good mobility. Was nerfed a little bit ago, but still a very mobile vehicle, and since they added the wonderful scouting to it, it means that its usability is much better. Not just because it has the scouting, but also the artillery that came along with it, which made it a little bit more, you know, usable. Generally, the Black Cat is just really fun. It's, you know, it's got the exposed commander, which is kind of annoying and can get artillery quite easily because of its exposed turrets, but at its BR, it's the perfect flank and spank vehicle, and if you are up tiered, you can always just scout in it in a passive way and be able to spot the enemy for your team. I would say this is a really fun vehicle. I've enjoyed this one for many years, and it's part of one of the challenge lineups I use to be able to get, you know, the Operation Summer and Winter done, which shows how much I highly regard this vehicle in general. The A43 Black Prince pack is also available, and this vehicle is always overpriced and never very good for, you know, what it ends up actually being. You can see it does have some quite nice user skins when it comes to War Thunder Live though. But the Black Prince is a very slow vehicle. It's basically a Churchill with access to a 17-pounder. And that means that it has a few issues with it, because it has pretty good armor for its BR. You know, it does have this flat plate, which basically negates all of the nice armor on it, though. If you do angle it, it can get a little bit better. And at long range, you can, you know, bounce quite a lot of stuff, but you don't have very good optics when it comes to long range. As you can see, the zoom is pretty rough, so, you know, long range fighting can be a bit annoying in it, but it does have access to APDS, which has very good muzzle velocity, meaning that you can fire from extreme range, which is quite nice, and also you have good smoke grenades, so, you know, you can kind of keep yourself alive. The problem with the Black Prince is the engine power. This thing has a 350 horsepower engine for a vehicle which weighs 50 tons. So as you can see, the max speed you're getting forward is less than 20 kilometers an hour, and backwards 2 kilometers an hour. And so you trundle along in this thing at a very, very low speed. And if you're on any map of any size, you'll spend most of it just driving, you know, going in a straight line, waiting to hit the action. And if you are on a smaller map, what ends up happening is the initial engagement has happened before you turn up. And then once you turn up, if your team has won, then great, you know, you get to push through and then maybe get a few kills. If your team has lost, then it's you versus the world. And if you're a good enough player to be able to survive that and come out winning, then good on you. Most people aren't though, which is why the Black Prince is generally not a great pickup. It has improved its lineup, you know, it does have the Centurion Mark 1 there now and also the Rattle to be able to help it out, but at the same time, I think the Centurion Action X is a much better pickup right now and probably a similar price. Let's see, 4,300. Yeah, it's probably about, you know, actually it's way cheaper. It's like 25 bucks maybe for the, or even 30 bucks for the Centurion Action X. But the Black Prince right now is $40 with 15 days of premium. So yeah, it's a tough sell, in my opinion, on this thing. It's a bit of a rough one, mainly because of the engine. And the last vehicle from this new discounted pack system is the Achilles, the M10 Achilles for the British. This, of course, is for the 65th Anti-Tank Regiment, the Norfolk Yeomanry, and also it gets a bunch of different camouflages, which is pretty cool, and is very similar, if not exactly the same, to the one in the tech tree, which is of course the Achilles right here at 3.3. The difference between them though is this Achilles is rank 3 instead of being rank 2, so this can efficiently research all of rank 4 and below, which is actually really nice for the vehicle. It gives you a little bit of a head start. At 3.3, the lineup isn't the worst for Britain. You know, you've got the Achilles itself, you can throw in the Churchill 1, the Cromwell also is available, which can work incredibly well with the general vehicles, and also the Sark, which is a lot of fun as a light vehicle. So this can complement an already pretty decent lineup. I've never really enjoyed the Achilles though. The gun penetration is great, you know, the 50 cal on top is very nice, the mobility is not too bad, and the armor can be very trolley, especially since it has these extra armor tracks on the front, and the gun breech seems to eat shells like no tomorrow. The problem I have with it is the turret rotation or lack thereof, and also sometimes the actual damage that the gun does, because this is the 17 pounder. Generally it will one-shot vehicles if shot in the right place, but also at the same time it will have times where it just doesn't feel like killing anything, and that can be extremely annoying when it comes to the vehicle itself, especially for a tank destroyer. So the gun characteristics of the turret rotation and also the vertical speed, which is also super slow, can be quite annoying in the vehicle. And its open top nature means that you're open to CAS and also open to artillery, and with the overpressure mechanic you can die pretty quickly with it, so it can be very annoying for the vehicle. But overall it's not a bad one. You know, this vehicle with the 15 days of premium account, with the you know, $17, it's not a bad pickup, because you can actually bring this rank 2 lineup into a rank 3 game, meaning that you can get your dailies done, you can get your specials done, and it also means that you can get some good research towards other vehicles of rank 4. And so it's an okay pick, it's just not something that I personally enjoy that much. But as always, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and there's going to be a bunch more coming, so enjoy them too. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Merciless Reaper, Jerry Provolt, Mega Dino King, Professor X1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Eugen's Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, Moxie, B. Young, and Derek R., Barine, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.